At 8 o'clock on the night of the 17th of August, 1980, a tiny baby disappeared from her parents' tent at the base of Ayers Rock.
I doth find that Azaria Chantal Lorraine Chamberlain, a child then of 9 weeks of age and formerly of Mount Isa, Queensland, met her death when attacked by a wild dingo whilst asleep in her family's tent at the top camping area, Ayers Rock, shortly after 8 p.m. on the 17th of August 1980.
Azaria was the daughter of Michael and Lindy Chamberlain. He is a pastor of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. She is the daughter of a pastor of the same church. There are 2 other children, boys, Aidan and Regan, 6 and 4 years old. Between her birth at Mount Isa, Queensland, and her death in the wilds of Central Australia, Azaria lived for just 9 weeks, her short life recorded by her father's camera. For their winter holiday last year, the Chamberlains chose Ayers Rock, southeast of Alice Springs, and from their home in Mount Isa, they drove their small car to Central Australia, laden with camping gear and all the trappings necessary to care for 2 small children and a new baby on a camping holiday. On the first morning at Ayers Rock, Pastor Michael Chamberlain went out photographing. Among the pictures he took was this one. It was the last picture of his baby daughter. This was the last day of her life. Six months after the disappearance of Azaria, the Chamberlains returned to Ayers Rock. With them is a friend, the Alice Springs photographer Erwin Chalander, who shot this film. A coroner's inquest has just found that the baby died from a dingo attack, and that the parents, the family, are in no degree whatever responsible for her death. But mysteries remain, set out in the coroner's finding.
I find that after her death, the body of Azaria was taken from the possession of the dingo and disposed of by an unknown method, by a person or persons name unknown.
The Chamberlains are back now at Ayers Rock without police, without officials of the court, without the persistent press. And they want to say this was how it was that night. This is what happened.
I brought Azaria up here with the boys, and while we were sitting here waiting for Michael taking shots of the paintings in the cave, and a bus tour pulled up, much like the one that's down there now, only it was koala bus tours with a whole lot of school kids on. This is where the children and I were when we saw the dingo. It was head and shoulders above that boulder there. Regan was standing directly underneath it, and the parents with their 2 children, the family of 4 that I met, were just standing here beneath me, and Aidan was running around beside me here, and I was standing here with Azaria in my arms, and just talking to the tourists, and sensed something watching us, and looked up and saw the dingo. And I spoke to the people beside me and said, look, what's watching us? And despite the fact of their movement, and Regan, in order to see the dingo, was talking and calling out, the animal seemed to fix its eye on me and the baby the whole time. It sort of made me feel a little bit creepy, as just an animal usually watches movement in the vicinity. This one didn't seem to, it just seemed to be intently watching me and the baby. Later that evening, when I saw the dingo in the mouth of the tent, it flashed through my mind how almost identical the 2 animals were. I couldn't help wondering whether this perhaps was the dingo responsible.
I was just standing beside this thing here, and I thought I heard Azaria give a short, sharp cry. I wasn't sure. And I said to Lindy, look, you better go and check on Azaria. And she started to walk down here, as far as I know, and got halfway across there and saw an animal. and then kept on moving, but a lot more quickly.
As I got here, I saw a dingo coming out of the tent.
With all the blankets scattered. And I dived straight in the tent up to the other end. Just feeling round, down on my hands and knees. Felt Regan to make sure he was still there, because I could see the baby wasn't.
And as I was backing out of the tent, I saw Michael and Greg like they were in slow motion, just sort of turning around slowly and say, "What?" So I come out and I ran across here. I screamed out, "Dingo's got the baby."
When the inquest into the disappearance of Azaria Chamberlain opened in Alice Springs, there were all the ingredients needed to sell a lot of newspapers. A baby, a wild animal, the outback, the hint of foul play, the mystical Ayers Rock, religious prejudice, and a virulent campaign of gossip and rumour the coroner would later describe as possibly the most malicious ever heard in Australia.